Well, only 5 days remain until a new year begins, and yet 11 months into the presidency of Joseph Robinette Biden, it is clear that turning the page on a calendar is unlikely to cure us of the chaos that has gripped our everyday lives. There isn't a galaxy in the known universe where anyone can say with a straight face that Joe Biden has had a successful first year in office. No matter where you look, the signs of complete and utter disarray are everywhere. Now, for those who may have forgotten, back in May, Russian actors hacked our nation's fuel supply. 13 states were compromised. 71% of the gas stations in Virginia ran out of fuel. 87% of the stations in our nation's capital were completely out of gas. And not only did President Biden refuse to act, he literally said the words, "We do not believe the Russian government was involved in this attack." As if it is possible to hack 45% of the fuel supply for the American Eastern Seaboard from laptops in Russia without Vladimir Putin knowing about it. Well, fast forward between his incompetence abroad and stupidity here at home, like halting construction of the Keystone Pipeline, gas prices pierced a 7-year high, and the American driver is, right now, spending an additional $400 million every single day on fuel versus what they were paying a year ago. These are simply the facts, folks. Your eyes are not lying to you, and neither is your bank account. Now, back in June, Russian hackers also shut down 1/5 of our nation's beef supply, compromising the full faith and credit of the American hamburger. And did this president deliver a proportional response or any response? Did he hold Putin and this hostile nation accountable for what was effectively no less than a third act of war against the U.S. homeland? Well, the true answer is we don't know, because all we were told was that Biden would address the matter privately with the Russian president, as if his word as a Biden is something we can actually trust. This from the same man who told us it was the unanimous recommendation of his senior military advisors to remove every single troop from Afghanistan, only to have his very own Secretary of the Joint Chiefs testify under oath that it was his recommendation to leave no less than 2,500 troops on the ground. Yeah, I think not, folks. I think we know who to trust when it comes to matters related to all things Biden. And of course, almost inevitably, fast forward, and our inability to solidify foreign supply chains or safeguard our own supply chains has led to a kitchen table nightmare, where the prices of bacon has soared and chicken tenders in your local supermarket freezer, well, they're very hard to find. See, this is the ball of confusion that grips this nation under the guidance of a man who promised to help America build back better. And this undeniable weakness is why China feels comfortable threatening to tighten their grip on Taiwan. It's why Russia had zero reservations, amassing nearly 175,000 troops on the border of Ukraine. Because last time they played sovereign border roulette with Obama and Biden, they invaded Crimea, and America did nothing. And they anticipate, in the case of a Biden-Harris administration, the results would likely look like much of the same.
We are having direct conversations with Russia. We are very clear that that Russia should not invade the sovereignty of Ukraine, that we must stand up, and we are standing up for its territorial integrity. We are working with our allies in that regard.
Let us be very clear, folks. The Biden administration is not standing up for Ukraine. They are not standing up for truth. They are not standing up for sovereignty. They are standing by and effectively, idly doing nothing. Which is why the fact that news of a withdrawal of some 10,000 Russian troops being treated as some type of foreign policy coup by the Biden administration makes absolutely no sense, when there are likely still over 150,000 Russian troops standing by and ready to invade Ukraine on a moment's notice. Yes, folks, there is a new axis of evil brewing in the East. America has gone from being the undisputed leader of the free world to questioning whether we are even prepared militarily or diplomatically to deal with the emerging threats of a rapidly changing 21st century world. Just this past October, Russia and China engaged in joint naval exercises for the first time. The result was a complete circulation of the nation of Japan, who, lest we forget, is a critical ally in our fight against this unholy, evil union. It was the opening salvo for the looming revelation that for the first time in the history of the modern world, the Chinese Navy has actually surpassed the size of the United States Navy. And so let us be very clear, folks. This is not what a return to normal presidency looks like. This is not an America built to last presidency. This is a complete dereliction of duty, the likes of which we have not witnessed in a very long time. If Norman Rockwell had ever painted a portrait of incompetence, his muse would be Joe Biden, and the backdrop would be the sorry state of affairs we are currently watching in real time. And so open your eyes and don't believe the rosy reports being fed to you from the White House press secretary and their allies in the media. Because the nation we love is in danger. And if we do not fight for her, it is quite clear that our leadership has little intention of doing so.
Grant Stinchfield is on Newsmax every night, fighting for the America First agenda.